Hi, Bartek from Road Racing here. Welcome to our video about the Stevens Camino Pro. Cycling Planet from Gdansk provided the test bike. They are the distributor of the Stevens brand in Poland, and I eagerly began testing this bicycle. I first took a good look. I always do. This bike, let's start with the geometry, the most important thing. But before we get into the geometry, I'd like to ask my rider Marek for his thoughts on the bike. Marek Ardeli, a renowned road, gravel and MTB cyclist, this year's Polish MTB marathon champion. So Marek, how did it feel to ride this bike?
Hey everyone, Marek here. This is Marek. Once again, I have the distinct pleasure on behalf of Bartek to be testing yet another gravel bike. Well, my impressions of it are overwhelmingly positive, absolutely. The bike handles exceptionally well and feels very stable. It has what I'd call a more touring-oriented geometry, if you will, in my humble opinion, although it does possess a rather sporty edge to it. It's stable, accelerates nicely, which is probably thanks to the wheels and tires. Generally speaking, I can genuinely say I only have positive things to express about it, as I really couldn't discover any especially weak aspects with this particular equipment. Yes, I truly enjoyed testing it. It was an absolute pleasure.
Marek, tell me about the handlebars. It's a strong distinctive feature of this bike.
Yes, exactly. And regarding the setup in general, you know, bikes for testing arrive to us in a particular configuration. I really would have gladly intervened a little with the height of this stem, because as for me, I definitely prefer to sit in a more aggressive, sportier position, seeing as I actually race on my bikes. Now, regarding the handlebars on this particular piece of equipment, it's quite a contemporary and modern solution, as we're dealing with a subtle flare here. I also wanted to point out that these are data handlebars, which are quite pleasant and well bent, allowing the bike to be ridden very comfortably and stably due to their design. I personally took the liberty of angling the brake levers inward a little bit, because that is also a characteristic setup that I truly like, and generally you really can feel that stiffness there. I rode extensively on those rough terrains with the cranks, and it genuinely feels great in your hands, which is another significant advantage. What's more, it has a 2x drivetrain. I mostly race on a 1x. I'm impressed by how much versatility this bike offers, but I think I know why they chose this particular solution for this bike. Yeah, I think it's meant strictly for training purposes. It is considerably simpler to train with a 2x drivetrain compared to a strictly racing-oriented 1x setup.
Moving on to my part of the review, thank you very much, Marek, for sharing your opinion. Marek is one of road racing's strongest riders, and I'm counting on some powerful performances from him next year in the M40 gravel category. And as for me, regarding this bike, let's start by talking about its geometry. I'd say this bike has a really well-balanced geometry. It's not a typical racing-oriented geometry because, for example, when it comes to the chainstays, we have 440 millimeters here. The tire clearance, which is a really critical aspect, measures 45 millimeters. It seems to me there's even some extra room, that they were being very conservative with that number. A 45 fits with no problem at all, but I have a feeling you could fit a tiny bit more. Perhaps even a 47 would fit comfortably. So what else is there? Regarding the wheelbase, we're looking at over 1040 millimeters in this particular size, my size, specifically the 51. That's quite a bit, but it's an idea that's already well known from other manufacturers and is frequently found in the modern gravel geometry of today. What does that do? It gives you incredible stability on gravel roads, and we need that. I'm not talking about riding on flats, but even on a slight descent through fields, that's where you need You acquire a bike that offers remarkably stable handling, not only for competitive racing but also for leisurely recreational outings, as this bike is indeed very well suited for bikepacking adventures. As you can see, it has many mounting points right here on the frame itself. On the underside of the down tube for bottle cages, many combinations up top, and 3 points on the fork. So this is a very comprehensively equipped bicycle. It also features a central mounting point right here on the fork, available for various uses, and from a geometric perspective, this bike is truly exceptionally well refined and optimized. Also, the riding position on the Camino Pro is quite comfortable. I found myself feeling perfectly at ease here. The frame features a rather long reach, yet it's complemented by a short stem and incredibly comfortable handlebars. I really wanted to bring particular attention to the handlebars that Stevens decided to put on this model. For this very model here, you get a slight flare, a light back sweep, and really thick bar tape. Yes, I mean quite thick. It's an aluminum handlebar, yet it's incredibly comfortable to ride. Regarding components, I'll share my riding impressions later. For now, let's explore the equipment. We have wheels from the Italian brand Fulcrum here, specifically the Fulcrum Sonic model. The wheels aren't light, that's a slight downside, 1590 grams. I see that as a slight downside, but these are gravel spec wheels with a 25mm internal rim width. This is optimal for tires from 40 to 47, 48mm, considering their width and how they sit. Round spokes and hubs from Fulcrum, quite a classic setup. The wheels are very stiff, the spokes are round, so they've achieved really nice stiffness in these wheels. They're very pleasant on varied terrain. A wavy rim. This wavy rim, if I had to say what it contributes most, based on my experience with these types of designs, I think it mostly helps with how the bike behaves in a crosswind. And in that regard, this rim really stands out and makes the most significant difference. And the rim looks super high quality. It is Fulcrum after all, so when it comes to quality, we're on very safe ground. It also boasts an advanced rim design. Specifically, when we look at the tire bed, you will notice there are no visible spoke holes. It's a very advanced construction. What's interesting is that it also features the Schwalbe click valve, which is a very modern solution. It's great that Stevens implemented this on their bike. And the tires. These are the classic Terra Speed from Continental in a 40C size. In my opinion, a future owner of this bike might consider an upgrade to 45mm tires once these wear out. These are very fast and excellent up to 45mm. Perhaps then the riding experience will be even better. Now moving on to the frame itself. The frame weighs 990 grams. That's a really attractive weight when it comes to a gravel frame. Frames usually weigh 1200 grams, so Stevens here really delivered on their design, achieving their project goals in that aspect. We have a great reliable seat post clamp, tightened from the side in a practical way, and a classic frame design. 2 triangles, the so-called double diamond, no frills. Remember, the higher we reinforce this specific area in the bike's construction, the greater our potential and capacity to enhance the bike's overall stiffness significantly. The dimensions of these seat tubes are quite substantial, especially for a bicycle. It's not super thin-walled, but somewhere right in the middle. This bike's stiffness, despite its rather large rear triangle, is acceptable. It doesn't possess the extreme stiffness found in aero gravel bikes designed for racing, but it is certainly acceptable. This bike certainly won't exhaust you or leave you feeling fatigued during your extensive all-day rides and adventures. As for the drivetrain, in this model the manufacturer went with a 2x12 setup, specifically the Shimano 825 group. It's the Di2 version, meaning it's electronic. And its performance, well, what more can I say? It's perfection when it comes to shifting on the cassette and up front with fantastic brakes and very comfortable levers from Shimano. There's nothing but superlatives to say here. As for this group set, in my opinion, it is currently the absolute benchmark for 2x12 gravel bike setups. Admittedly, the battery is here in the seat post. It's not wired through the frame. This is still part of that generation of equipment where such a solution was implemented. However, everything else aligns perfectly, leaving no room for complaints. And I have no complaints whatsoever regarding that aspect. Now let's transition to my riding impressions, which will essentially summarize this review. The bike feels. My initial feeling, as I typically ride a different American-made bike designed for a slightly different application, it's a dedicated race bike. But what truly surprised me here, what I immediately noticed first and foremost was its great stability, especially when riding straight, generally speaking. That's connected to the wheelbase. The cornering is also really great. The bike is super stable, this bike is quite comfortable, yet it's not shifted towards being one of those overly soft bikes that feel like they're bending in every direction. Absolutely not. This bike, as Marek rightly pointed out, also possesses this edge that allows for an energetic and responsive ride. I would really describe it as a true middle ground gravel bike. It is well balanced, effectively bridging the gap between bikepacking and racing applications, leaning neither way. It doesn't lean towards either of those two extremes. I'd define it as a truly middle ground gravel bike. It's certainly suitable for various uses, including races, but also for those longer trips. Thanks to the number of mounting points, you can easily set it up for that. The price is approximately 18,000 zloty on the Polish market, and I believe that's a really good price for a bicycle equipped like this. Well, you get a carbon seat post, we have cable integration, great quality brakes from Shimano, the whole GRX-DI 2-group set, and we have branded wheels from an Italian manufacturer, plus very quality tires. And here's a small but significant detail, and a really great one, the Schwalbe click valves. So I can definitely recommend this bike to anyone looking for something like this. Such a middle ground bike, a gravel bike that is also very fashionably painted. Look at this interesting color here, how wonderfully it presents itself. And well, that's all from me. Warm greetings from Bielawa in Lower Silesia, because this is where we filmed our material today at the foot of the mountains. I associate Bielawa with MTB races and bike marathons. I even rode the mega distance here with almost 2,000 meters of vertical climb. I have very fond memories of those races, and all of that unfolded right here in this very place. See you in the next Road-Racing.pl productions. All the best to you. Bye-bye.